What's up, you guys? Today is May 3, 2024. Today I'm doing assisted pull-ups with these two Rogue bands. The reason why I'm doing these is because they allow me the training volume I need at the beginning part of a pull-up to connect my shoulder blades to my rib cage in such a way that I can then pull higher in the pull-up. I just got out of the kitchen. My wife let me out to do this, and I'm super cold. So I'm going to show you what my pull-up looks like cold. All right, so this is my cold pull-up. I have not warmed up at all. If I'm being honest, that's about as high as I can go. Pull-ups have never been easy for me, even when I was younger. So, and now that I'm older, if I try to pull harder, I get some bone-on-bone scraping on my right shoulder from a surgery that I had back when I was a teenager. It's just kind of the way the joint works now is a little bit rickety. So, this is something I haven't really posted before, but I hope it's helpful, because if you're brand new to pull-ups, this is something that I hope is helpful. And I didn't invent this, but I'm just going to explain to you how I do it. These are obviously Rogue green bands. I selected these bands because they give me the support I need to practice the beginning part of the pull-up. That's the important part to me, because it's the part that allows me to practice connecting and linking my shoulder blades to my rib cage. So what I mean by that is, God, gee, it's windy, holy shit. All right, so first, I'm going to externally rotate my upper arms, which activates what I consider the glutes of my upper body, the shoulder retractors, the lats, the traps. Once I've externally rotated my upper arms in the sockets, I'm now going to just pull to the height that's easy for me to get up to. Right, once again, I'm going to externally rotate my upper arms so the insides of my elbows are facing backwards, and just doing a few of these. And I'm not trying to force this. I'm working in a range of motion that's pretty easy for me to work in right now. And that's why I like these bands, is because for me to do this many partial pull-ups with body weight, a long time ago I would have been too tired. But right now I can just focus on symmetrically contracting both sides, and so I'm getting a good amount of training volume at the beginning or the bottom part of the pull-up, where I am very weak. Because if I can get this bottom part and the linkage that occurs right here, ooh, my shoulder's starting to scrape. That usually happens when the muscles get a little tired. So I'm coming back here. On the break, I'm gonna explain to you my setup here. Once again, this is not an instructional nor a tutorial video. This is my workout, so I can't say that what I'm doing here is safe or recommended for anybody else. But while I rest, I'm going to tell you what this is. So I got these sandbags from Shogun. To me, they're the best sandbags I've ever tried. That's a 75, a 75, a 50, and a 50. Just different colors, because they sell them in two colors. These mounts, these are professionally installed by contractors. The ceiling was removed and reinforced studs were placed, and then these mounts were installed by a professional contractor. And these weren't installed for me, these were for my two daughters when they were little. We used to hang a, hey, Bubby, get over here. We used to hang a playground swing up here for my daughters, so it had to be really well mounted for their safety. All right.
Bubby, come here.
Thank you.
Inside, Bubby.
Bubby, go. Thanks, P. All right. So once again, I'm making sure that I'm stepping on the bands so that they are at the apex of my arches. I'm taking a width of grip that is usually longer than what, or wider than what I could normally handle. Here's an important part. Before I even start any of these assisted pull-ups, I am trying to elongate my body as much as I can so that I'm putting the maximum stretch on these bands for two reasons. I don't want any slack or buckling in my body. This is a good position to also, okay, this is a good position to take when I'm doing just regular body weight pull-ups. But the more I can stretch the band by straightening out my body, not only does it ensure that my spine and my body are straight, but the bands can now act on my body in a more efficient way. So right now I'm just trying to feel the muscles between my, or behind my shoulder blades, and just working in a range of motion that's easy for me to get up and down into. I want reps. I'm not trying to get really high right now. And just one more time. Okay. And then stepping back, got to be careful. We don't want the band to slide off the feet, obviously, because they'll either smack you in the balls or they'll whack you in the face, and both of those are no good. All right. Okay. And so for me, I've never really done kipping pull-ups, or I never try to blast myself into a pull-up. I always want to start at a very dead hang and be able to strictly pull myself. So the start here, that part is super important. There are many days when I'm doing pull-ups and I don't really care about getting my chin over the bar. That has never been an objective for me. I find when I make getting my chin over the bar the goal, the rest of the repetition tends to suck, because then I start trying to use momentum and I end up, there's nothing wrong with using momentum if your shoulders are healthy and good, but if you have any defects in your shoulders like I do, you end up jumping into the cartilage and the connective tissue in a way that actually makes whatever issues you have worse. So by going slowly, I am training the muscles in a sequence that they can transfer energy into my joints in a way that is smooth and doesn't aggravate any compromised surfaces. Okay, so once again, and how I come off is also important. I want to, when I bring myself off the sandbags here, I want to minimize swinging, and I'm going to put just enough of a bend in my knee so that these bands are not scraping against my thighs. All right, once again, I'm going to externally rotate the upper arms, which activates the upper back and shoulders, sort of like activating the glutes in your lower body. That connects my scapulae to my rib cage, and once that's there, now I can get a nice glide. Another reason why I like to do this is because I'm weak in pull-ups and I can't do a lot of body weight. This also, from a psychological standpoint, is much more fun, and it's much less discouraging because, wow, I'm getting tired just doing that amount. Because I think the reason why a lot of people don't or can't do pull-ups is because they get too tired struggling with their body weight and they just can't get the training volume, and whatever reps they do get, they seem so small, and per the effort that they require, they don't seem to give you a big return. They do, but it's still nice to be able to feel and travel through a greater range of motion. So yeah, I also, because I'm weak in pull-ups, one good workout, and when I do pull-ups, I usually try to add weight to it in some way, but that ends up being a maximal effort for me, and it usually takes me too long to recover from that workout to do another one. So these partial pull-ups allow me to maintain training volume in pull-ups while still allowing myself to recover from heavier pull-up workouts that I do on other days. But once again, if you are new to the pull-up, making sure that the start, how you start at the beginning of the pull-up, is very, very important, because if the linkage there is good, then what happens beyond that in the higher range of motion is also going to be excellent. And your shoulders, more importantly, your shoulders will last much longer. Okay, so once again, I'm going to try to wait till I stop swinging. I'm going to first activate the glutes of the upper body by externally rotating the upper arms in the sockets, turning the insides of my elbows backwards. You can see how that already changes the angle of my chest. And now I can fire my lats very strictly. I can't do that with full body weight. So I'm getting a very strong activation of the kinetic chain, but I'm also not overstressing my right shoulder joint, because muscles protect joints. So when my muscles get too tired on pull-ups and I continue to try and pull higher after that's occurred, that's when my joint surfaces get pulled into each other, and I literally start to feel, I can feel my bones creaking and rubbing on each other, and that's not a good thing. So with these bands, I can stay right in the range of motion where my lats can, and just all my muscles can protect the shoulder, but I can still get the training volume. So, all right, now I'm just gonna test one body weight pull-up. I'm only gonna pull into the range of motion that I can easily elevate to without any undue friction in my right shoulder joint. Once again, externally rotating the upper arms, activating the glutes of the upper body, and now I'm gonna pull. And that's as high as I can go, and that is okay, because today I'm just concerned. I'm not concerned about doing pull-ups. I'm not concerned about this goal of getting my chin over the bar. Even on days where I'm doing a heavier workout, Getting my chin over the bar requires too much internal rotation at the shoulder at the top, and to me that is just not worth it. Oh, a little side note, the reason why I like to use sandbags instead of a chair, if you're gonna do something like this, please make sure that what you're standing on is extremely stable. I have 250 pounds of sand underneath my feet, so I can do things like this, and it, I don't recommend that, but this is not going to go flying away from me like a chair or even a bench would. And also, stacking the bags to this height allows me to easily get my feet into the bands, like what are they called, stirrups or something. Okay, and then when I put one band on, I'm going to hold this because it is now tight, and I can now have stability as I do the other side, and now I'm going to hold on to both of them and get them down. All right, and once again, I'm going to just bring myself 1 foot off at a time to minimize the amount of swing. I'm now going to lengthen my body as much as I can, which takes the slack out of my spine, straightens everything out, also allows the band to efficiently elevate me. I'm going to take my upper arms, rotate them or externally rotate them in the socket, which activates the upper back and the glutes of the upper body, and now I'm in a position to fire the lats very slowly and practice the linkage that's required to do high quality body weight pull-ups. But I'm able to, with the assistance of these bands, get a lot of training volume with minimal stress to my compromised shoulder joints. And just gonna go one more time. All right, and then when I step back, I want to do so in a way where the band is not going to go flying off my heel and snap me in the balls or hit me in the face, because that sucks. All right, take the band off. I'm going to hold on to both my bands, pull on this one to take the slack off my foot a little bit, shake that off, continue holding this one, shake this off, and then use the bands to come off. Once again, if you're gonna do something like this, please don't use a chair or a bench or something that can just go like that, because it's not gonna be good if that happens. What this can be, this is a very, very, like I said, I'm not making, a lot of people do this, but I'm just trying to warn you of some of the, or make you aware of the precautions necessary, so that you don't hurt yourself doing this. Okay, we're almost done. It's also nice to just stretch out the chest a little bit. All right, I'm going to do just one more set. Why don't I'll demonstrate the chin up as well, because number one, I should be doing chin-ups, whether we're videotaping or not. But okay, so holding both bands, making sure that that band is placed in the apex of the arch, making sure that band is placed in the apex of the arch, so they are both symmetrically supporting me. Also, that's the least likely place for the band to slide off my foot. Take 1 foot off and then take the other foot off. Oops, I said we're doing chin-ups. So let's go right here. Okay, 1 foot off, other foot off. That minimizes the swing. Nice thing about the chin-up is your upper arm is already externally rotated in the socket. So, but I'm still going to try to squeeze my elbows inwards, which activates the glutes of the upper body, angles my chest into my lats, and I can now just work in that range of motion that's easy for me to get up to. I could pull higher if I want to, but the object is for me to get a lot of easy reps and just pattern this movement from the very bottom here to wherever I can get to here. This, I believe, is the leverage down here is the most difficult, so that's what I want to get really good at. And once again, because I am weak at these movements, the only way I can train with the volume required to make that neuromuscular connection here and here is to make myself lighter with these. And these things also teach you a nice body posture that shows up well on your body weight pull-ups. Okay, I'm gonna finish with one final set of an over grip or a pull-up grip. Okay, holding on to this as I put this one on. Come here. All right, there we go. Okay. Because this wider grip feels nice. I am so weak at pull-ups that normally, let's try this. This for me, with body weight, this width of grip, even on a good day, I can barely get a quarter of a pull-up, right? But with the assistance, come off one foot, then the other, so I don't swing. I'm gonna make myself as long as I can at the bottom, put the maximum stretch on the band. From here, I'm gonna externally rotate the upper arms, activating the glutes of the upper body, angling my chest upwards, and now being able to slowly fire the lats. This range of motion with body weight would just not be possible for me, and I definitely would not be able to hold. As I'm doing this, the nerves and the muscles that are required, they're communicating with each other and really learning how to do this better for me later on when I don't have the bands to assist. Whew, almost snapped my balls with that one. Okay, let's take that off. Hold on to this, take this off. All right. I'm pretty much almost done. I'm just gonna do a body weight hang. And here's what I did here, the range of motion, it'd be very understandable to feel like to think, wow, those don't do shit. But honestly, those are very tiring for me. I'm pretty beat. Now, if I were to just try to do one all-out body weight push-up, pull-up, let's see what happens. So I've got some good muscle activation going, but I'm also pre-exhausted. So let's just see what happens. That's it. And if you decide to try a few sets of this and you just work in the range of motion that's easy for you to get up and down in, but you can get a lot of reps in, these all should feel kind of easy. Notice I've been talking to you guys this whole time, but when you're done with, I don't know, say 6 or so sets of this, whatever you want to do, test your regular pull-up and it should feel different. It should feel surprisingly challenging to do, and if you get that effect, then I promise you that you got a beneficial return on the effort you put into this. Anyway, I'm done for the day. It is Friday, so I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you're still here, I appreciate you. Much love and aloha.